Right, this is a method I call selective noise removal. Sometimes if you take a shot and it's slightly underexposed and you want to pull back the detail, you'll normally introduce some grain to the shot. This photo was taken with bounced flash at ISO 400 using the Canon 5D, and if I remember rightly it was very slightly underexposed, so I had to pull back the details to actually get the shot looking good. And if you go to Control Alt 0 100%, you can see we've introduced quite a bit of noise, some of these specky, flecky, crystal type things all over the image, where the software has actually pulled the details out of the shadows, but it's also introduced a bit of noise and grain, and you can see these white flecks everywhere. Now, I don't want to destroy the image on the faces and the body and the clothes and things like that, but I do want to get rid of a lot of these grains and a lot of this noise. If this was being uploaded to stock, I'd have to work on it quite a lot. So this is just a technique that you can learn, that you can selectively get rid of noise in certain parts of the image without destroying the rest of it. Now, all I've done is selected the blur tool, a very feathered brush of 0 hardness again, a diameter that I think I can work on the image with, and then we've got a strength at around 14%. Now, once I've got that, all you need to do is left click anywhere in the image and start painting. Now, if you hopefully are seeing this, you can see here that we've got some serious grain and specks and things like that within the shadows here. Now, if I start left clicking and just dragging across the image, you should start to see those flecks disappearing, because what's happening is I'm blurring the image to the point where it's actually blending in all of those specks into the black background. If I go over the stool here and bits and pieces, now you've got to be careful not to take away too much of the detail of the image, so you don't ruin the actual sharpness that is there. So sometimes you just need to dab it, but when you're in the darker areas, just paint like you would paint anything and just keep going. And you can see there we've actually got rid of all of those white specky things that were in the picture. Even these big ones here, if we blur it away, you can see they all just vanish into the background and they all blend with the black background, and that kind of kills the noise, so we can't do those ones just yet. Along the seat edge here, just a quick paste and they go. Same with those two there. And then if we go up here, you can see in the background down here that there's quite a few of those specks again, so literally just start pasting. Because this image has a fairly shallow depth of field, you don't have to worry about making the shot look blurred, because obviously the background is supposed to be blurred due to the shallow depth of field. So here you can see we're just blurring away again all around the outside of the groom here. You can see all of those specks are disappearing and blending into the background. Let's just keep going. Now it's a fairly time consuming process, but if this photo is going to be printed big, or it's going to be used for stock, something like that, then this is a kind of necessary thing to do. And rather than using a noise removal software to do the whole image, you can selectively just get rid of the grain from certain problem areas. Now, a lot of your photos may not be quite this bad, but you can see here all of those specks, all of those grains, all of that noise has now vanished from the background completely. We've got rid of it completely and left it actually looking quite nice. You can see down here as well, it even adds a kind of nice touch of bokeh or bokeh to the image. The quality of the blurs is kind of improved, so we can actually go around the whole image doing that, but it's really the darker areas. We can just give a quick brush over the bar there. We don't want to kill too much of the sharpness, but we can just knock back the noise. Same there. But as I said, it's really the dark areas that are a problem, so I hope you're seeing that we can actually get rid of all of those specks and flecks just by using the blur tool. Now obviously, depending on the image and how bad the image is, you can adjust the intensity of the blur tool, the strength up here, to get rid of the specks and the grain and the noise and things. But like I said, make sure that you're not overdoing it and getting rid of any detail and sharpness to the image. Just use it fairly sparingly, but just to get rid of that noise that you've introduced when you've increased the detail in the shaded areas. Obviously the suit here we can work on separately using noise reduction software, because that will not take away too much of the detail. But you can see, I hope that you can see that by using the blur tool we can actually get rid of and bring back the blackness on all these shaded areas just by blurring and blending away all of those pixels back into the background. And believe me, when you've done that and you come back out, you can see a massive difference. And when the photo's printed, either in a book or on a large print, again, you can see a huge difference. You haven't got all those white specks in the background against all the darker areas. So if you do happen to get those noise issues and those problems when you work on the shaded areas of an image, just use the blur tool, use it fairly sparingly on a fairly low strength, and just blend it back into the background.